People, what's going on? How's everybody doing out there? Look, I don't know, a little raspy today. I don't know what's going on. Either way, regardless, it's your Mind Your Business podcast. We're back for another episode. Today we have the People's Agent, what they call him. I'm going to read the bio. Now let me get in. He sent me a bio. Let me read. Let me read it.
Cut it
Domenick
short.
Epps, fame. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What you say
You
now?
can cut it short. You can cut it
Just
short.
short. Oh no, bro. I know we need to get into this.
I got you.
Domenick Epps, famously known as the People's Agent, is the husband of Lakita Queen Epps, and through their union, they are the proud parents of Josiah Morgan, Trinity, and Zoe Epps. Domenick is the son of Ronnie and Minta Epps, born on July 17th, 1983, in the Saratoga community of Suffolk, Virginia. Domenick is the co-founder and co-owner of Wall Street Cafe Incorporated, Victory Allegiance Realty Incorporated, MYB International LLC, Y Capital Private Equity Incorporated, along with the youth pastor of Covenant Community Church, vice president of Enlightened Minds Mentoring, which is a nonprofit organization, mentors youth in the city of Suffolk. He started his first business at the age of 17 as a senior high school and has been an entrepreneur striving not just to be successful, but to educate and pour into all that God has called him to serve. So, with all that being said, right now, it would be the whole applause thing. So people are clapping.
I got
you. Know what I mean? So you're here. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Glad to be here, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I see right now that you're broadcasting. You right over there in the Wall Street Cafe as we speak.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, way to brand.
Got to. Yes, sir.
So look, man. First off, you have done a lot. Like you are involved. You have your hands in a lot of things, and I guess at the end of the day, they call it a lot of streams of income.
Right.
My question to you is just off top. How did you get involved in all of the things that you're involved in? How did you get involved in real estate? Like, what was that process like?
Got you. So real estate, man, I'll be honest, it wasn't something that I chose. Real estate chose me. You know what I'm saying? If for those that knew me growing up since the age of 12, man, I fell in love with music. I started out by writing poetry. Then it became raps. And then at the age of 17, I started a recording company. While I was in high school, we had a rap group. We tried to get signed to a few labels and things weren't working. And so I decided at a young age to say, listen, we can start our own. And so turned this 3-bedroom roach infested apartment that 9 of us stayed in into, the recording company. Went down to the city, filled out the application. Didn't even get the landlord's approval. You know what I'm saying? And man, I remember when they came for inspection, I was praying that no roaches would crawl out. You know and so they came, man. I said, yeah, it was the living room. I had like a little computer desk. I was like, that's going to be the office. In my bedroom, I turned my closet into the booth, and they gave me the pink business license, right? So, that was my thing. When everybody was saying they had a label, I was like, yo, I got the paper. Like I'm legit.
Official.
And so from there, that was really my goal, man, was to be the next P. Diddy, the next Russell Simmons. And it was just straight music for me. It was straight music for me, man. And then I had some encounters in life that really some death, close to death encounters in life. And God was tugging on me, right? And so that changed my life. And then that was April 29th, 2004 when I changed and got saved. And 2 years after that, I came back to music, but this time I had a Christian recording company. So that's when we started doing Christian rap and things like that. And so it was while I was, focusing on that, we had a fundraiser, a chicken dinner fundraiser. We was broke, man. We didn't have no money. We were trying to raise money, so we can get some studio time.
Right.
And in the midst of chaos, man, I heard from God. He said, real money, real estate. Like I heard it clear as day. But I didn't know anybody in real estate. That wasn't something that I, wanted to become when I got older. Really didn't even think it was possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
How we grew up in the hood, didn't even think it was possible. And so I knew music because I studied so much in the music industry. I met so many different people. I traveled. So that was the lane I just knew was going to really take me to the next level to be able to support my family. And then a year later, I kept hearing it and I finally obeyed. I finally obeyed. And, we had some challenges, but the rest is history.
Mm. Okay. So I had to look up principal broker. I did. I went online. What is so from what they said the principal broker is, um, they can be real estate agents, but ultimately they're the big boss.
Yeah, you own it. Yeah.
You kind of own that thing.
Right.
So I need to know, and not just me.
Yeah.
How did you get to that place? Like, because you just can't all of a sudden just overnight just become a principal broker.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what was that process, man? How you come on, man? Come on, put us on.
I'm gonna tell you, man, that process started back as a kid, imagining myself as a boss.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I never had the mentality of, that I'm gonna work for somebody else. Right. And if I'm gonna work for somebody else, it's gonna be just enough for me to get a step into the game. And that's what happened in real estate. In real estate, you have to have 3 years full time before you can take your broker's license. And so what happened for me, I got my license. I gave my job. I had a good paying job. I was a sales rep with Pepsi. So pretty good paying job with benefit. But I gave them a 4-month notice. I prayed on it. I said, God, when can I go full time? Talked it over with my wife. And she said, as long as you can get your first closing, then you can go ahead and step out. So I gave my job, man, a 4 months notice. I said, listen, September the 12th, 2014 is my last day. All right. I'm turning in my uniform and I'm going full time in the real estate. And my supervisor looked at me because his wife was an agent and he said, are you sure? He was like, it's not guaranteed, it's commission only. So you're not going to have a steady paycheck. You have a family. I said, well, God told me to do it. And, he said, all right, go ahead. And so that's what happened, man. I got started. It wasn't easy early on. Our house was about to be up for foreclosure. Our rental property, I was taking rent money, try to pay bills because, I wasn't having consistency in pay. And so we was about to lose our rental property, was about to lose our current home. And so it was pretty hectic. You know what I'm saying? It was hectic at home. And my wife said something to me because I was still trying to do a million other things at the same time.
Right. Got it.
And she said, if God told you to do real estate, you need to focus on real estate. And so I cut loose some things and I went all in on real estate. Meaning it was my focus just went to a whole nother level. And I started a team. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a team. So I started, bringing people on that from my hood. Like, listen, I'm going to train y'all up. Like, a lot of y'all followed me when I was doing music. You followed me when I was doing something bad in the streets. So now I'm going to get you to follow me, into this real estate thing. So I would just, if it was siblings, if it was family members, if it was cousins, friends, I'm going to train y'all, teach y'all how to get in this game. And so I started a team, right? And then it went from a team that I knew that I got to have 3 years before I could take this broker's test. And when my 3 years came up, I took the test and, got with a firm, my partner, who's now my partner. And a year later, she reached out to me. She called me. Now, at this time, I was actually one of her top agents. So I was under her brokerage. And, she was the principal broker for another company, right? So I'm working under this company. And she called me and she was like, I got something to talk to you about. Just like that, right? And I was like, yo, I already know. The answer is yes, let's do it. And she didn't even get it out, right? Like God is like, he'd already showed me like
right.
This is time. And so it was a step of faith for both of us to, her to leave. She was the principal broker over the state, right? So it wasn't, the position she had was pretty powerful over the whole state for this company. And we both, just started, our own. And the agents that was under the company had a decision. They could either come with us or they can stay with their company. And all of them came with us. And that's how we got the brokerage. started.
So you said something. You said that when you first started, that you kind of got your friends, your family, and things of that nature
Yeah.
involved. You hear this a lot. Friends and business, just doesn't work. How did that work out for you?
They don't work with me now. They don't work with me. I'm just real, keeping it 100. Like,
yes, sir. Yeah.
So here's what I've learned. All right. Now my sister, she does. My sister,
Okay.
like she's been my ace since it doesn't matter what I do. She's gonna rock with me, right? So my sister, she's our transaction coordinator. She does her thing. But what I had to learn was I wanted it more for them than they wanted it for themselves, right?
Right. Yeah.
And most people look at the results that I get and think that they can get it just by getting a license. And it's like, listen, no, you literally have to put in that work. And if you're not willing to put in that work, you're not gonna get these results, right? And so, I tried, but one of the hardest things was when I had to actually fire one of them, right? And I hated the fact that I had to do it, but I had to because it was impacting the business, right?
Got it.
And so, yeah, man, that's to answer that question. So,
yeah, and because you hear that a lot. You hear where, and the thing about it, I think a lot of times people have the heart.
right.
Look, I'm gonna start my own. Look, y'all, I want y'all to come with me.
Right.
Let's build this thing together.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the plan. But then what happens a lot of times is as you're trying to build it, if they're not there to help build it,
right.
And at the end of the day, they're just trying to ride, which, they trying to just kind of catch the, the stuff that's falling in a sense, you know what I mean? And I had a guy on a couple weeks ago, my man Ski from Got Fish. And one of the same things happened with him when he first started. He tried to bring along his friends to kind of help.
Yeah, he was deep.
Help build.
He was deep.
Yeah, that's what he said, man. It's what he said. He tried to bring them along to help build, but once again, it just kind of goes and you see that story happen a lot. Every now and again, you might get one to where it works out.
Yeah. I got a partner, man. It works out great for him, man. My man Major Gourmet Burger Bistro.
Yeah. Okay.
He got a family ran business, and they doing some amazing things over there. And the thing is, everybody got to be able to be locked in and into the vision, right? And so, for the cafe, I can say that that's different. Like I'm seeing now, like with my immediate family, with my children, my business partners, and their children, like we're able to take this to a whole nother level. But when you find out what people are good at, you just got to put them in the right places. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's really what it boils down to. Is like, listen, this is not your lane. It was great when I was out in the street selling CDs because hey, that's your lane, right? But it's a whole different dynamic. So that's what it was.
So let's talk, man. So outside of Principal Broker, you got where you are now. You have the Wall Street Cafe,
right?
You're still involved in other real estate ventures as well,
right?
How are you balancing all of that? Like, what's your day like? Give me your day. What's your day like?
So ideally, my alarm clock goes off. The first one goes off at 3:45, right? If I get up, I'm up. If not, the second one will go off around 4:30. And then, it's a time of prayer, time of devotion, nothing too lengthy, right? And then it depends on the days, if I'm out working out, or if it's like on Tuesdays, I have prayer call at 6 a.m. And then from there, it just depends, like now where I'm at, I'm a little more flexible. But my schedule used to be real strict where, I was at the gym at 4:30. I'm making live call. I'm on the phone making calls to clients at 6:30. People thinking I'm crazy, but I'm like, listen, people that's making money, they're millionaires. They up at this time, so you got to reach people when they up, right?
Right.
But what I can say is the ability allows me to be a little more flexible and have my hands is to have a great team, and so I have people that I delegate and they can kind of manage certain things, which allow me to be able to do what I do. And I'm about leaving my children and our children's children businesses, not debt. You know what I'm saying? So, like my thing is I want to be able to have a legacy so that, when my time is up here on earth, listen, they're going to be able to have those businesses that's going to continue to fund their dreams and their children's dreams. And so I always start a business quick. Like every idea is not going to be just an idea. It's going to have some type of S Corp LLC attached to it with a brand, and we're going to make this thing happen. So that's
Mm,
how I look at it.
mm. Now, and have you always looked at it that way, or was this over time to where, you know what? Because I want to say everybody may not necessarily have, when they start a business,
Mhm.
they may not have other people in mind.
Right.
You know, sometimes it can be for selfish reasons.
Right.
At what point did it get to where, you know what, I need to have this for my children and for my children's children? Like, when did it get to that point?
When I was homeless, sleeping in the car. When I was homeless, sleeping in the car. This was, my wife, man. We was engaged, and I was broke, and I didn't have nowhere to go. But she stuck. She stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that time was only temporary, right? I knew
Mm,
that it wasn't going to be something permanent. But I went through a season of having to sleep in my car, take bird baths in the truck stop bathrooms or hotel bathrooms, sleeping on friends' couches. And I knew, like, listen, this ain't how things gonna be for me, right? And
mm,
so just knowing my upbringing, where I came from, what I experienced, it's like, listen, I'm gonna go extra hard because I don't want my family to ever have to experience what I went through. So that's one of the reasons.
so so now and I'm just going, now the homeless piece, was that more so a result of bad business dealings, or just some personal choices that you made that just weren't the best?
Yeah, so that was more. I want to say a little both. It was more personal though, right? It was more
Mm,
personal. I was very zealous at the time as far as ministry. Called myself doing street ministry. I was staying with my grandmother and my mom at the time, and I wasn't working. So
mm,
I left the job. I was working for the city. I left the job and said I'm going full time ministry. And of course, they hit me with that scripture: "Man, don't work, you don't eat." You know,
mm,
and so
mm, mm.
that caused me to be on the streets. But I I honestly, that time period, man, was probably the best. Right, it had my faith on a whole nother level. I got to a point to where I had no choice but to depend on God and get closer, to really know Him for myself. And from there, everything started to form and come in place. So it was neat. It was necessary.
Well, look, you guys, for those of you that are just tuning in, Mind Your Business podcast, I'm JB Harrison. We got my man Domenick Epps on. He is the co-owner of Wall Street Cafe, as well as um, he's the principal broker of real estate. He's into all kind of stuff. He's flipping houses. He's got his hands in everything. He got so many streams of income. I had to get him on the show because at the end of the day, I need for him to tell us what it is. You know, I saw a post the other day. I think your post was something like Cash App needs to up their limit of, I think, transfers or something like that when it
Yeah,
came to
yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
And so anytime there's a post or something, that means somebody making some money.
right, right.
There's some money that's being made
Yeah,
if a limit needs to be upped.
yeah.
And so with that,
It
what
slows
does it
me down.
take?
It slows me down a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
just a little bit, huh?
yeah, just a little teeny bit.
But I'm going to ask you,
Yeah,
because everybody wants to know the keys to success.
right.
So in your eyes and where you are, give me five keys that you believe is what made you successful.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. So, one, tithing. I'm coming from a kingdom perspective, right? So tithing is, to me, you can't expect for God to bless you if you're gonna rob him, right? So even when I didn't have, man, if somebody gave me $1, I made sure I gave a dime or 25 cents out of it, right? And that's just a principle that I live by. How I was raised, but what I know to be true, right? So tithing is one principle. Secondly, I'm gonna say write the vision. You gotta have a vision. You gotta have a vision. One thing my wife can tell you that even when I didn't have anything, right? The conversation I had with her was, listen, I said, I see myself traveling the world. I see myself owning businesses. I just went down a list and said, I see myself doing this. And at the time I was broke, I didn't have nothing, right? And I said, if you don't think you can handle it, let me know now, because I don't want to go forward if you don't think you can handle it. And sometimes we kind of joke about it because she was like, well, boy, you was broke. I ain't believe you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was the vision I had. Like I saw that, like regardless of where we were. Right. So tithing, vision, you gotta have a vision. You gotta write it down and make it plain. And you have to believe it. I think when people get to vision boards, they make them just to have them, but they don't really believe what they put up there. Right. But you have to literally believe it. And then execution. You gotta go after that thing. Like you got to have that dog. You got to be able to put in that work. And regardless of what other people say, you have to set yourself apart. And so when I got into real estate, right, this was my slogan: you will not outwork me. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how long you've been in this business. You will not outwork me. I'm going to start at 4:30 in the morning and you're going to be free, right? I'm going to answer calls when people inbox me at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Hey, just call me tomorrow when you're available. I want to talk about buying a house. No, ring, ring, ring. Let's talk now, right? Like you're not going to outwork me, right? So you got to have that dog. And then of course you got to have financial literacy. Like you cannot have a desire to make money if you don't understand money, because you'll never respect it if you don't understand it. And so you have to start reading books. I read, I watch videos. I try to learn as much as I can when it comes to money, right? So, and then the last one I would say is you got to be a giver. You got to be a giver. Like when you look at and you study, the top 5. Not only are they the top 5 income earners, but they're the top 5 in giving. Right. And so that's one of the principles that I live by is giving. And I don't give because I have. I believe I have because I give. And if you're willing to live by those, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, those are some good keys right there. I think those keys might mess around and open up a whole bunch of doors. You know what I mean? And my thing is, because that is the question. Everybody always wants to. Those are the questions that people want to ask. Right. They want to ask people who are successful. Hey, what is it that you did, or what is it that you're doing that got you from here to here? Right. And so if I get the chance to ask it, I'm going to ask. Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, I think that's good. And you made a point. You talked about financial literacy, and that kind of will take me into this next thing. Cryptocurrency. I know that's a big thing right now. You're hearing a lot about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You guys, y'all got a party or something coming up.
Yeah.
And so now, what exactly is that, man? Like, I think and I ain't gonna lie to you, man. When I seen the price tag, I was like, look, my pockets right now ain't where they should be. I'm working on them 5 keys though, but go ahead.
Listen, but I'll tell you right now though, and this is from me to you. If you want to come, if your wife want to come, I got your ticket.
Oh, my man.
Get suited and booted. I got both of y'all tickets so you can be in. And here's what I've learned, man, that just being in the atmosphere, it does something to your mind, right? Just being around it, right? So I would, and I've learned this from reading books, how people would say, like, listen, I want to sit down and be at your feet. I want to learn from you, right? I got a mentor, man, that before COVID, this guy owns, his house, multi-million-dollar house, paid for in full, right? I would go drive deep down Virginia Beach. Now I'm in Northern Suffolk, right? I would go drive deep down Virginia Beach every week, right? Just to sit at this man's feet and just take notes. right? Like, and you look at his lifestyle, you look at the house that he have, right? So you should always find somebody that's at levels, not just a level, but
Hmm.
levels above you that you look up to, that you can listen to. And one of the things he said to me was, he said, "You have learned how to do ordinary things in an extraordinary way, right? And you got to be willing to do something as simple as just showing up every week, just showing up, right?" And so when you expose yourself to a different life, my mom did that to us, man. Yes, that apartment was it wasn't the best living condition for anybody, right? When you got, gunshots going on outside. I mean,
Right.
it was bad. But almost every Sunday, she took us out the neighborhood. She took a real estate book, and we call it the white folks section. That was what we called it growing up. Right?
Hmm.
Took
Hmm.
us to the white folks section, and she had us to dream. And we used to point at these houses. We used to say, "Oh, that's my house. Oh, that's my house." So like 30 minutes, we driving around in this Ford Tempo that didn't have any power steering, and hoping nobody called the cops. And we just dreaming. And then you got to go back, to reality, and every
Right.
now and then duck on the floor with somebody shooting outside. But you got to be able to expose yourself, expose your family to something outside of where you are, man, and that will really allow your creative forces to start turning. And before you know it, you're gonna see it. It's gonna click
Mhm.
like, oh man, that's a business. That's a,
Well, so how hard was it for you? Because, and I think this is one of the other things,
yeah.
you hear people say, you need a mentor, you need to get a mentor, you need to find a mentor. How hard was it for you to one to find one, and but then two to find a mentor who was willing to accept you as a mentee?
Right. Right. So my first mentor, God bless his soul, you know, most mentors is right in front of you, believe it or not, right?
Mm.
People you already know, you just don't think about it. So in my case, my first mentor, he was a deacon at a church I grew up in, right? And I didn't really, he looked at me as a son. And at the time, I didn't know what he did. I just, I knew he had a nice car, nice house. But I didn't really ask any questions. I wish I would have early on, to be honest with you. But it wasn't until 2015, 2014, that when I got into real estate, got my license, I found out about him having a whole bunch of property, right? And he would come up to my office, and he was sitting there, man. I would just ask so many questions. And then he'd take me in the car, he would take me around and show me different properties. So if I would have known this early on, I wish I would have took advantage of it. But I learned so much just from being in the car, riding with him. So he really was the first one to give me my first opportunity. So
Mm.
what he taught me was, even if you don't have the money, you got to have the knowledge. You
Mm.
can't be poor in both places. You can't be broke in the
Yeah.
money and be broke in knowledge. Like,
Right,
you got
right,
to have one. And so what
bruh.
he taught me was, you need to learn all that you can learn, and somebody will finance your dream. But you got to at least know what you're talking about, right? So what happened was, I didn't have the money, but I had the
Hmm.
knowledge.
Right.
I didn't have the money to do a flip, but I knew how, right? And so that's what he taught me, man. And from there, I remember I made a post on Facebook. I was like, yo, um, you know, looking for some investors. We're gonna form an investment team, blah, blah, blah. And I was tagging people that I knew had money, right? Think
Mhm.
they gonna want to be a part. None of them signed up. It was two individuals that I didn't even think wanted to be down with what I was doing. Two good was they sisters of mine now, but two friends of mine. One of them was a client of mine, and they formed, and we got together and formed our company, and that's how MYB International started, right? So if you don't have the money, get the knowledge. And the knowledge is free, right? You don't have to
Okay.
go to these seminars and pay thousands of dollars. Go to YouTube University.
Mm.
Free, right? Get you some books, read, and that's what I did.
Bro, listen, man. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on you can't be broke in both places.
You can't.
Like you gotta have one or the other, man. Like and like I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't get stuck too often. But that right there, man, that's
Gotcha.
that's major. Like that's major right there, man.
Right.
That alone, because it says so much.
Right.
It says so much and it means so much because, like you said, the knowledge, most of the time the knowledge is free.
Right.
But because if the money was to come tomorrow, would you be prepared?
Yeah.
Like, would you be ready if that money, if for some reason, somehow, and I'm just gonna say you hit the lottery or somebody dropped some bread in your lap or for whatever reason you got an inheritance.
Yeah.
Would you be prepared for it?
I'm gonna tell you the lesson I learned. So when we had in 2006, we had Team Jesus Music Group, right? And it was a Christian recording company, but to be honest, we ran it like a ministry more than a business, right? And I remember we went to I was a Swan man, so I was driving a yellow Swan truck, going door to door, selling food, and I ended up meeting this investor, right? And he proposed a question because I wanted to do delivery service because I can meet people, establish relationships, and sell my music, right?
Mm.
So that was like my thing. Listen, if I can get a job going door to door and they pay me, I'm gonna be able to also sell my music, right?
Right.
So I had this one client, this one customer that I sold one of my CDs to, and he said something that really, startled me. He said, "Do you need an investor?" I was like, "Yeah, I need an investor." So he said, "All right." He said, "Well, bring me a business plan, and I want you to present it to me and my partners, right?" So I'm thrilled, man. I'm just like, I can't believe it. I'm finally about to go full time, about to leave this job, and we about to do this thing, man. And I remember we went to Virginia Beach. He was an attorney, by the way, had his own practice, and we meet with him and his investors, and we give out our business plan, and we have our artists there, right? And they skip through all the pages, the marketing, the vision, the purpose, core values, all of this stuff. And he says, "Where's your numbers? Where's your financials?"
Mm.
I said, and I was stuck. He says, "I don't know if you're a ministry or business." He says, "Ministries raise money, businesses make money, and I don't see any financials in this plan." He says, "So go back, work out some financials, and we was asking them for $100,000. So imagine asking somebody for $100,000.
Right.
You don't have any financials on how they'll get that money back, right? You can't show them any forecast on how they'll get their money back."
Mm.
So fast forward, man, we ended up, putting, I don't know, it had to be some fake numbers. I don't even know how we got the numbers, but we put the numbers in there, and I think it had me getting like maybe $30,000 salary. My VP getting like $20,000 salary. So that's $50,000 right there, right? And so it was like Shark Tank, man. It was like Shark Tank. They looked at it and they said, and I was so disappointed, man, because I'm like, man, like, you didn't want to ask me, and you turning me down. He said, "You ain't ready. You're not ready, right? We don't see how we're going to make our money back."
Right.
And then he said, "You don't have enough product." And we're like, "We got the artist." He was like, "No, you need product. Where's your merchandise?" Right? We need multiple ways to see how money's going to come in. If you can't just rely on tours, or you can't just rely on music, like, do you have t-shirts? Do you have this? Do you have that? And he said no, but he showed me so much that I still use today. Right? Like, he showed me so much, man. I was upset, disappointed. I can't believe he did this. But so with anybody that's looking to make money, and that's pretty much what you talked about, you have to know what you're gonna do with it when you get it. Like, you have to know. And look at the fact right now where we are, as in the economy. People got stimulus checks, unemployment checks. and just blew it.
Yeah.
They didn't have a plan. There was no plan in place. So, right.
Man, listen, man. Let's talk Wall Street Cafe.
Yes, sir.
Because outside of it just being a cafe, there's a premise behind it.
Right.
You and your business partners. So let's just kind of talk about what it is, how the thought process, how it came about, and kind of what goes on there during the course of the week or the day or whatever.
Right. Well, man, you gonna hear me say this a lot, and this is not me trying to be super spiritual or super spooky, right? But I say a lot was say this was a God thing, right? And so once again, it's just another vision, and you know, I've never been in any restaurant business before. This is something brand new. But what I will say is, before I talk about Wall Street Cafe, is I've learned that you have to master one area first, and everything else is going to stem from that, right? So I got to a point to where real estate, I had it down pat, right? I had real estate down pat. Things were moving, progressing, and all right, boom. That's going to continue to make us a lot of money. We're good over there, and so this vision came in, and I always I had wanted to open up something, right? Even when I was a Pepsi man, I was working for Pepsi. I wanted to open up a Subway, right? I always wanted to open up something. And so the vision came, of I just saw of doing this cafe and tying business with it, but not just business from the standpoint of just real estate, but I wanted to tie in the principles of Black Wall Street, right? And so, I kind of shot the vision to my wife. And of course, she was like, "Oh, here we go. Here go another one," right? You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause she knows, like, hey. So, but she gave me the okay, and she gave me the okay. And so, being that me and my business partner Danita had the real estate company, I had her husband, Chris, my guy, that came over the house, and I pitched the vision to him. I said, "Yo, this is what I see. Like, see this, you see this, and." We're gonna talk forex. We're gonna talk real estate. We're gonna talk stocks. We're gonna teach. It's not gonna be your normal cafe. Like, people are gonna be able to come here, get great food, get great coffee, but also they're gonna learn business, right? And so when I go into different places to eat, to be honest, I see different people. I see a group of white business owners that meet every Monday in one location, right? And these are certain people that have the keys to the city, right? They buying up everything. And so, in doing my study of Black Wall Street in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, with O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford and the Haiti district in Durham, North Carolina, and I'm learning, listen, people have been doing this for years. Like, we just we need to get the information out, right? Because, we don't know. We have not been taught in our public school system about Black Wall Street. People don't even know it exists, right? And so that's pretty much where the vision came from. Didn't even know how everything was going to come together. I had a client that wanted me to sell a building, right? I had a client that wanted me to sell a building for. And so, I had put her building on the market. And then she said, "Hey, I got another building I want you to sell." I was like, "All right, cool. Let's check it out." So we come in this building, and where we are right now. And as soon as I walked in, man, now the building was tore up, man. I'm gonna tag you in the post so you can actually see the pictures. The building was tore up. As soon as I walked in, something was like, "This is it. This is it." And so
even in the state that it was in.
Because you got to think about it. I flip houses, so I have the ability to go into a house, and regardless of what it looks like, I can see what it's going. You know what I'm saying? But that even goes back to when I was poor. Like, I didn't have money to buy new clothes, so I used to design the inside of my clothes so like I got two outfits, right? So I would take my jeans inside out and paint them, right? So now I got two pair of jeans. Or I would take my sneakers, go to Walmart, get some paint, and just paint them jokers up so they look brand new. So I always had the ability to look at something and be like, "All right, I got something for you." You know what I'm saying? And so when I walked into this building, I was like, "Yo, this is it." And I saw everything that you see now. Yeah, this is it right here. This is it. So we took about a year, man, in renovating. We took about a year renovation to really get it, where we wanted it to be. And we're looking forward, man, because once our attorney gives us a thumbs up and say, hey, everything legally is set, because we're going to be franchising. We have already been approached by some former NFL players that's looking to, open up a couple of our cafes.
Mm-hmm.
So, once we get the thumbs up and he said, all right, all the paperwork is straight, y'all good to go. Man, listen, wherever there's a Starbucks, there's going to be a Wall Street cafe. So we're excited about that.
And you guys basically opened the cafe up during the pandemic.
Right. We grand opening was October 2020. And this is what I tell, and like off air when you ask me about, the politics thing. When God tell you something, that's it. Like, I don't need to go and conversate, reason with anybody else. Like, if he said do it, he's gonna make sure it's gonna work. Of course, it's gonna be tested. Everything's gonna be tested. But the fact that we knew that this was God. Now, we wanted to open up February 2020, right during Black History Month. So we didn't have our grand opening when we wanted it, right? But we still opened up, and it's been great.
Once again, for you guys who's just tuning in, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. We got my man Domenick Epps on. Say he's the people's agent. I don't know, man. I think I'm about to start calling him something else, man. Calling the mayor or something, man, because I tell you. And so not only with all of the businesses that you have, let's talk mentoring. So what is it that you're doing, or what do you think should be done to kind of, so for the next generation?
Right.
So the next generation, the younger generation, the next generation of entrepreneurs, kind of who we kind of cater to, what are some things that you're doing or you may have in place or that you're thinking about doing to kind of help kind of build that bridge?
Well, we mentor. I've been mentoring inspiring entrepreneurs. We mentor in the public school system. And my life is pretty much an open book, man. So I have an open door policy. Somebody calls me, texts me, inbox me, hey, I have a son, or my daughter wants to learn real estate or want to learn how to invest. Now I always tell them I don't mind meeting, but it's going to be on my time, right? So as long as you can fit in with my time, if it's either going to be early in the morning or, we'll make it happen. But I'm a firm believer that every Moses got to have a Joshua, every Elijah got to have an Elisha. So you got to have somebody you're pouring back into, right? Somebody that's going to be able to take it even further. And so you can't hold this information to yourself. You cannot hold this information to yourself. You got to be willing to pour back into somebody else. And so that's what we do. We teach the information, everything that I teach, even when I teach for a fee, right? When it comes to investing seminars, we give it to the kids for free, right? We give them the information because, for one, we was not taught this.
Right.
So growing up, we wanted to be, either an athlete, or we wanted to be a rap artist, right? Or it was going to be on the streets, right? Because we modeled after those that was before us that looked like they were successful in making money, right? And so, when selling drugs didn't work, because, hey, like, I tried it, that wasn't my swag, and so, hey, that had to stop. Selling music was great, but hey, that stopped. Right. And so, I'm like, you know what? I want to be able to go back into the same neighborhoods that I feel like I negatively impacted from some of the things I've done in the past, to now positively impact the neighborhood and say, all right, let's teach y'all how to make this money for real, right? So that's what it's all about. You got to be willing to do that. You must.
So out of all of the businesses that you've had your hand in or that you've been a part of, do you feel as though real estate is the I guess the best, one of the best routes to take, especially
I mean, it is by far. But listen, and I had this conversation with my godson, who's 16 years old, who's now taking up my wholesaling class, right? He's now at 16. And it was crazy, is at age 14, he wanted to be a rapper, right? I never forget the conversation I had with his mom. He wanted to be a rapper, he wanted to rap, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. So, I got you. But he stayed around me. And with him, I intentionally did something that I wanted him to really ponder on, right? So if I go to the bank, if I got a big check, I'm cashing. I made him count the money, right? And I'm just like, yo, count this for me, right? Count this for me. And I wanted him to see that this is real money. This is not video money. This is not, you know what I'm saying? This is real money, and you know how I got it. You know I just sold this property, or you know I just did, you know what I'm saying? And so when he hit me up and he was like, I'm ready to learn how to do real estate. I was like, all right, let's do it. And he stopped rapping that way. It was like, so, you know, like, yeah, it is, man. I would tell anybody it's the move to make. You know, for young people, I tell them that your first house should be a multifamily, right? I don't think, you know, any young person should be trying to buy a single family house. You know, buy a property that's going to make money for you immediately by you having tenants. And so it is the move to make. It's the move. Yeah, it is by far.
And with that, because real estate is so vast, is it more so trying to be an agent or just purchasing something? Or is it flipping? What would you recommend?
So you're right. It's broad, right? I think for anybody, you should find your lane and just focus on that one lane until another one opens up. So for me, I started out as an investor. I started out, you know, telling myself I was an investor even though I had no money, right? And telling other people that I was an investor even though I had no properties, right? But I got that free education. And so I learned the game. I learned how to do contracts before I even got my license. And me getting my license just enhanced my ability to go out here and really do what I enjoy doing, right? But for some people, there are people that are wholesalers making lots of money. You know, the reason why we started this course and we're teaching people, we're hiring people to wholesale, is because in the past 4 months, we've paid out over $100,000 in people wholesaling, right? So it's like, okay, we're paying middlemen. Why are we paying middlemen $25,000, $30,000 a contract when we can pay our own employees money and still keep a good portion, right? So you can get in as a wholesaler, you can get in as an agent, you can get in as somebody flipping, you can get in as somebody buying whole. But what I will tell someone is, don't look at what I do and say, well, I want to do that, right? You need to find out, you know, what you would enjoy the most. I enjoy, as an agent, helping families because of being raised from a single mom. So when I get to help a single mother, I get to help a family to become a homeowner that didn't think it was possible, I get joy in that, right? Like I get joy in having somebody become a homeowner. And then, of course, everything else that's the purpose. So.
Bruh, listen, man. I'll tell you like this, you know, just the fact of being able to sit and have this conversation,
right,
and with you being as open and transparent as you have been, that alone is amazing.
right.
I will say this: we've had the opportunity to have some really good guests on that had no problem sharing and kind of telling, "Hey, this is how it worked out for me." I have two questions for you.
Right.
One is highs and lows. So what's your highest high of the business of being an entrepreneur, and what's your lowest low? And you can kind of take that either way, whichever you want to do first.
So it's all right. So the highest moment is, you know, being able to, when I was able to say to my wife a few years ago, hey, you don't have to work anymore. Right. And for her to be able, you know, because before we got married, of course, we was engaged for 3.5 years, and she literally, you know, worked. And a lot of times I didn't have no job, but when I did, she would be the one taking me back and forth to these temp jobs. So one of the highest moment was the ability to say to her, listen, you good, you can go ahead and put your notice in, right? And if you do work, that's something that you choose to do, but you don't have to. So she left her job. She was working at ODU. She was there for about, I think, like 8 years, something like that. And you know, she left her job, and then she ended up taking this teacher assistant job at our daughter's school because she wanted to, you know, be present with them. But next month is her officially retiring. She's done, and you know, we'll see if she's gonna come on board. I don't know about that one yet, but we're working on something. You know what I'm saying? I just told her, just enjoy life, right?
Right.
I would say that's the high. And then the low is pretty much almost the same thing, family, right? because of the schedule, it's crazy, man, because my children, we got girls, our daughters are ages 11, 10, and 8, right? And they'll say, all right, Dad, you're gonna you gonna schedule me in, or and I don't like hearing that, but they know I live by my schedule. Like I live by my calendar. Like, so everything has to go on my calendar or I will forget it. So, but I try to make sure that I give them their time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when we ball out, we ball out. You know what I mean? But that's probably the low is, early on in the game, man, I spent so much time with them. Like, my wife was at work, they was with me, right? They was with me showing houses. Like, I took them, I had, them on my back, or I had the carrying case and, the stroller, like showing houses with my girls. And I would call my clients and say, hey, you okay if my daughters come? Because, they gonna, we ain't got no sitter, but they're gonna be with me. And so, early on in the business, while we was building the business, Daddy had that time and they was with me, and, my mom was at work. And so now, of course, things shifted. So, but, that's probably the most challenging is, when you get home, they probably already laying down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then your oldest, they on the phones. So
they
on TikTok or YouTube or whatever it may be. So that's probably the lowest point for me, I would say.
You said you read a lot.
Right.
And I'm about to be interrupted because my son just. We're doing a podcast right now, sir.
Car washing Bluey.
Oh my gosh! Now both of them just came in here. Okay, yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all go right ahead and watch Bluey. Yes, sir. Y'all go ahead.
That's how we do it. Hey, I thought you were fiddling with the mind your business, but no.
Look, so I know you said getting the knowledge is free.
Right.
2 books that changed your life.
Woo! Listen. First book. Book. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad. Of course, I can say the Bible, but first book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki. That book changed my life. It changed my life. The second book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Those are 2 books that really transformed my life. Why? Because it transformed my thinking. It caused me to think differently, right? And so I went from reading Rich Dad Poor Dad to reading Before I Quit My Job to reading Cash Flow Quadrant. Like his whole Rich Dad Poor Dad series, I started just reading because it was, for one, it was down that lane of investing, right? And so when I got the Cash Flow Quadrant, I began to learn that, hold on, man, I've been on the left side of this thing. I got to get on the right side to get out the rat race, right? And so now you start looking at money as an employee and not you working for the money, right? So now it's like, okay, now my money is going to work for me. Instead of me going to work for the money is going to work for me. And so those 2 books, man, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, I will honestly say this conversation has been a great conversation. And you really put some really great information. And when I say great information, like I'm serious, like, I'm not that dude that's going to sit here and lie. I'm not, but you really put out some really good information for entrepreneurs, for people that are trying to figure it out. For people that have big dreams, but they don't have the money. You said it. You said, hey, look, get prepared. Just in case that money does pop, be prepared for it. So get all the books you got to do all the research, get on YouTube, do all of the reading and everything that you need to do so that when the time is there, you're prepared to jump.
And this is what I'm going to do. So make sure y'all show up now. You and your wife will have a ticket to our VIP session.
Bruh. Babe, we're going to the VIP session.
Check this out. For those of you that's watching, make sure y'all go to CryptoParty2021.eventbrite.com. But the VIP session, they're $200 tickets, right? But the VIP session, what we're going to do is we have, myself and my partners. We're going to talk about not just cryptocurrency, but we're going to talk about real estate and how you can literally flip a house, man, with little to no money out of pocket. And most people don't even know that. Most people think you got to have a lot of money, you got to have, a lot of credit. You just need information. You just need information. Your personal credit does not matter when it comes to flipping houses. You're going to have the worst credit score. You got to have a business license, right? But we're going to teach you how you can literally take somebody else's money, OPM, right, to fund your project and to fund your next project off of one project. So, also what we'll do, besides y'all two getting that VIP, anybody that's watching right now, mind your business, make sure y'all reach out to my man JB, because if the first two people that say they want to attend JB, we'll go ahead and give them tickets to the general admission, courtesy of Wall Street Cafe. So,
and listen, and look, you guys, and this wasn't planned. Like this is him. Yeah, we didn't plan this. Like this is coming from him right now off top. This was not a ploy. We didn't put this together. This was not a conversation prior to. Yeah. He's just trying to help somebody get up out they slump.
Right.
Everybody talks about what they want to do and what they want to become.
Yeah.
But this right here is an opportunity, man. Bruh, look, man. Listen.
Just come ready. Listen, man. I used to walk around and I used to go to the Goodwill, brother, to get my suits, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to this day, people would say, man, how much, man, you spend a lot of money on your clothes. No, brother. No. Listen, people who want to act rich, want to look rich, spend a lot of money on stuff. Remember that. I had to learn that. I had to learn that because I used to think, oh man, I'm an agent now. I remember going to the mall, man. I spent like $700 on like 2 suits, right? And I thought I was doing something. Like, man, that's what you're supposed to do. And then you get around people that got money and they tight. You're like, hold on, man. So people who don't have money spend money. People who have money don't spend money. We got that backwards.
Right.
We got that backwards, man. We got to learn that. We got to learn that.
Yeah.
We got to learn that. So,
man.
Yeah.
Look, man. I truly, and when I say I truly do, I appreciate your time.
No doubt.
Time is one of the things you can't get back, and I appreciate you spending that time with us, and giving the information that you've given.
No doubt.
Outside of everything else, I really do, and I say that I mean that's as honest as I can be. I really do appreciate that, man.
Okay.
You could have been doing anything else, and I'm sure you still got a lot of other things that you need to do, but you took the time out, man, to jump on here, spent the hour and some change, and I truly do appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, man.
I do, bro. I do. So that's what it is, man. I will make sure we get that information out to the people, so that we can get them involved, man. And once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up. And it's crazy, man, is how many communities that we are both a part of.
I know, right? I know.
You know what I mean? Like, so people don't listen. And I'm gonna tell you, it's crazy because I actually did the voice, and we talked about it. I did the voice for the commercial for the Wall Street Cafe.
That's crazy, man.
You know what I mean? And I didn't tell you this as you were talking about the whole Team Jesus thing. Well, some years back, I managed a group called Hoshama. I managed some dudes that were Christian rappers as well. Cats named Neganov, a gang of dudes, and it's
wow.
It's crazy, man. But look, my phone is ringing. People trying to get a hold of them tickets, bro.
Hey, man, let's do it, man. Let's do it,
indeed.
Man.
Yes, sir. So
let's do it. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you, man, and we will definitely be talking. We might have to do a part 2. We'll figure this thing out. But once again, thank you, man.
Yes, sir, bro.
Thank you very much, brother. All right. So once again, you guys, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. My man Domenick Epps. Look, man, I can't say thank you to that brother enough for coming on, having this conversation with everybody, with the people, just giving out a gang of information. Hopefully, I hope y'all wrote stuff down, but you'll be able to catch the replay. We'll post it up on our YouTube. You can catch the replay. But once again, it's a Mind Your Business podcast. I'm JB Harrison. We do this on Mondays. So make sure you stay tuned. And once again, I appreciate, hopefully you guys learned something. I know I did, man. So that's what it is, man. We'll talk real soon.